time! It's finally time! It's been in anticipation for over a year. It's been teased, it's been promoted, it has been endorsed. We have finally got it. AEW is finally on television. Live television. I think only 450 watched it. Even though it was against NXT. Sure, it's a developmental program, but still one of the most alternatives to watch from SmackDown and Raw, especially from the dark days SmackDown have to this day. And Raw was bad, so AEW had to do something, right? Should I? Maybe I should just go over the show to just make sure stuff is completely clear before I even get on critiquing Dynamite. The intro sucked. It made no sense. I thought I was going to see red explosions everywhere, rock music pounding the screen with some of the top superstars and showing the highlights from the pay-per-view matches they had. Dynamite. Then they just show rainbow explosions like it's fucking Pride Week, and they just went over the goddamn thing like a fan made it. It felt like a fan made it. It didn't look professional. It didn't look iconic. It didn't look like a great impression you should have, especially for your rival promotion. They just went for a season premiere, and several months of them having plummeting ratings, and them changing the complete look of Raw. And now we're gonna have the most anticipated SmackDown we haven't seen in years. So AEW better do something different. We had the most promoted, hyped up matchup involving Cody facing off against the esteemed, prestigious, amazing Sammy Guevara for a 25-minute match. Going over counters after counters, a reverse superplex, a nice C4 I saw from Sammy Guevara, counter after counter. They didn't go outside that much. Most of their stuff was in the ring. I thought it was a bit much for a match opener, especially for the pseudo owner of the company out of Cody Rhodes. So this was a shocker that he opened the show, that he must have wanted because he obviously wanted to leave the main event for the world champion, more popular guys on the card. And plus, I wanted to do that for that hype factor involving Jon Moxley coming back because he was reported to be coming back as soon as the first episode of Dynamite becomes live. So it happened. So Cody won via roll-up after brutal near falls, a failed tope suicida over to Brandy. So we thought Sammy Guevara was going to win, but Cody battled back and just got a roll-up out of nowhere. So kind of understood the finish and how you couldn't even beat a fucking midget. That totally shows us how amazing you are and how you got your ass beaten by LAX, Jericho, a 40-year-old Jericho, fucking Jake Hager, and that was in Bellator, and Jesus Christ, Cody, come on. Next up was Brandon Cutler facing off against MJF, and it was alright if we're counting heel versus bland-ass babyface. I think it was okay, good reversals, good run-out stops. It was decent to see actual, a heelish promo, actually acting like a douche, and just asshole chants just pounding the stadium, also making fun of some dude because he still plays Dungeons and Dragons, even though not even children play that game, so why blame him? And this match was okay if you like just taunt fests and wasting 15 minutes of your time. MJF won with some kind of arm takedown maneuver into an arm breaker, and he got the tap out in a pretty decent finish. Built him up as heelish, but you know what could have made him heelish if he lost that match by holding this finisher too long and trying to critically injure Brandon Cutler. But pretty decent match, so I'm gonna give it that. there was the segment involving Jay and Silent Bob, a remake promo for their movie coming out. And then, as soon as that happened, Angelico and Jack Evans came out to interrupt and call them losers and fat. And then they said they suck so. And Silent Bob and Jay say that they're so bad they couldn't even win a wrestling match. I don't think they won a match on pay per view anyway. Then Private Party came in and intervened. Yeah, the man that beat him, like, back it all out, so. Then they just walked down, then they just showed the tournament. And the only team that has a bye is the fucking something evil. I forgot what their name is. I think the only relevant tag teams in AEW is either SoCal Uncensored, the Young Bucks, Lucha Bros. Oh yeah, the Dark Order. And that's about it for me. I really don't care. Next up, speaking about SoCal Uncensored, they had a segment involving who's going to be the partners and how's it going to feel to be in this tournament. And Scorpio Sky all he said is he's just going to stick this out to make Christopher Daniels and Frank Kazarian take over. I don't know why would this matter to be promoted. Like, they're not even the most popular tag team in the card. It's obviously the Young Bucks. And they're just there because they sort of have a promo. They even had a promo earlier in the show just making fun of Washington, D.C. And Scorpio Sky mimicking Obama, even though he's not even the current president of the United States. So that's my thing on it. I feel like SoCal Uncensored is the most indie-rific group of all time. They're all veteran, smug cunts, and they're tremendous talents in the ring. I just feel like they're corny, promo style-wise. And they just came with the Lucha Bros somehow wearing suits, but they're wearing their masks. And and Pentagon, of course, and Phoenix do the sign. Then they start fighting when SoCal said SCU, acting like some frat boys that haven't been in college since 2001. So that's my take on it. Next up was a promo match from the beginning. So it would be Pac facing off against Hangman Page. And Hangman Page, I've seen a bit of him in Ring of Honor. He's tremendously athletic for a guy that's supposed to be a sort of retrified brawler in pro wrestling. Yet he can do moonsaults, code reds, top gun holos. He did a tope suicida. He did a moonsault from outside the ring. He did like a wheelbarrow. He held him up in a barrel form and just hit him with a moonsault. Fucking the crazy ass striking moves while it took the Black Arrow. Yeah, he calls it Red Arrow, the Black Arrow now, and finished him off with an inverted abdominal stretch into an STF. Pac won in a pretty convincing fashion. He acted super aggressive the entire match, and that was pretty cool to see. Pac act super fucking gruesome, amazing. He still kept the same look he had when he was heel, and he was a cruiserweight champion back on WWE TV. So good that they still make him keep that gimmick, because if I see him shaved again with that stupid ass goatee looking like a fucking gremlin, I'm gonna cry. So good enough. This was an all right match, but I felt like this was a bit overdue. I felt like there was too many near falls and too many times Hangman Page was a bit of a spot monkey, and it just totally convinces me why they dropped the belt to Jericho. Because there's no other guy that deserves to be world champion. Thanks. Kenny Omega isn't that much of an established face. The only guy that I see being world champion on AEW is either Cody Rhodes, Moxley, or Jericho, or Luchasaurus if they want to. So that's sadly they weren't there. Marco Stunt, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy weren't even on the opening start of the show. And I thought you guys weren't trying to get your entire party in, but somehow the Private Party and Jack Evans and Angelico were, so I don't get it. Like, obviously, there's some fan favorites that AEW fans are promised to see on the opening premiere of the show, but whatever. Next up was the second to last match before the main event, and that would be a AEW Women's Title match with Nyla Rose winning a Battle Royal back at All Out against Riho that beaten, I think, Britt Baker. the future number one contender, just Raiho, that I forgot how she won it, but uh, whatever, she gets a title shot, and whoever wins will become the new and first ever AEW Women's Champion. So good for them. And the future number one contender, Britt Baker. So Joe City gets her wish. Fucking Britt Baker gets a title shot later on in the future. So Nyla Rose facing off against Ryo. And all I can say is, what the fuck? From all the matches that I see that are completely unbalanced, it comes into matches like this that makes me feel like, are they going to get rid of that indie-rific kind of style of wrestling? Where they're letting Raiho try to hit German suplexes, do a botched-ass powerbomb or a C4. Nyla Rose thinking that she's super athletic. The best thing she ever did was a senton where she tried to land on a couple of chairs, and then later on she started wrestling like a heel after the last couple of months of her getting pushed as a babyface monster, winning a goddamn battle royal. I think twice now, and she wins these gauntlets and thinks she's a monster, and yet she can't wrestle for damn shit. She fucked up and slowed down a goddamn clothesline. Maybe because Raiho is incredibly skinny and small, and somehow she lost to her 3 running knees, 1 to the back of the head, and twice from the front of the face. Think fucked up a Hurricane Run. This match was just a complete mediocre mess, even though I felt like Raiho tried her best to make sure she can do well against somebody that's, I feel like, inefficient in the ring as Nyla Rose. That would be terrible as a women's champion. So it just came up for her attacking a Japanese dude that's on the roster that got beaten up after losing the women's title, and then Kenny Omega just came out of nowhere and just stopped her from attacking the new women's champion, Raiho. So yay, we got a new women's champion, and that's our second crown champion of AEW in just the first taping, after fucking Jericho beat Hangman Page in the first pay-per-view. So got to that. Next up, main event time, and the main event was a 6-man tag after Kenny Omega just changed his t-shirt into some kind of no-sleeve jacket, into Jericho, Santana, Ortiz facing off against Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. And everything was going good. Jericho even did something he did to Daniel Bryan back in a 6-man tag, and just tried to feel like he's gonna get so hyped up and try to take down this guy. You're in Santana. What the fuck? And it was doing good. It was also a good springboard crossbody later in the match. Of course, there was that I'm going separate my legs from the ropes for a corkscrew outside, and Hurricane Arana. Then as soon as Jericho counteracted something from Omega, there was a double super kick on Jericho. It was like if PWG had a big ass budget. I wish that sounded positive. I wish that sounded positive, but you get what I mean. It was a bit of an indie-rific thing, and the biggest thing that kept the fans off their seats wasn't the big-ass reversals or the big indie-rific moves or how Santana and Ortiz were amazing to watch in the ring. It came off Jon Moxley coming out and beating up Kenny Omega backstage, and hitting him with a dirty use of some glass table. It's so high up, he literally went head fucking first. And then it came off with, I think, a running senton through the corner, some type of clothesline, and then the Judas effect to finish off the match, hitting one half of the Young Bucks. With the Elite losing against Jericho, Ortiz, and Santana, then everybody came to intervene because Omega and the Young Bucks were getting attacked. So Cody came out first, then Guevara came out, kicked Cody in the nuts, then Dustin Rhodes came up and tried to clean house. Then Jake Hager came out of nowhere and just came and assaulted everybody. Even did his patented little splash from the top that he jumped off the second. And gave Dustin Rhodes a fucking I am the table gut wrench powerbomb. And that was the show. That was AEW's first ever episode, October 2nd, 2019, and it's in the books. We finally have a new TV show and wrestling show on TNT since 2001, where Ted Turner actually had a wrestling show he could be proud of. And then 1999 happened, and we know what happened. 1999 happened, and then 2001 happened. So that that is a sad truth of what happened to WCW. I wish it'd come back. I would actually like WCW to come back. I thought it was a cool ass show, and I think it had one of the best concepts in wrestling, and the best match stipulations, and had a few of my favorite wrestlers ever. So, but enough of the past. AEW is the present, and I'll give this show a good opening 5 out of 10. I thought this was good. This could have been better. I thought some of the matches had very little reasoning. The AEW Women's Title match was mediocre, really bad, really slow. I felt like some of the moves were awkward. Nyla Rose, I felt like a little child wrestling against a fat man. I mean, a fat woman, you fuck. And then Moxley and Jake Hager coming was amazing. Really hyped up. MJF was a delight to see, and see him actually play like a legit heel was really entertaining. Even though I feel like he's just aristocratic Elias Sampson. That's how I feel, because I watch too much shit of WWE now. Sammy Guevara and Cody Rhodes match was a bit overdue, and I felt like they had no backstage segments. I felt like SoCal Uncensored sucked. They're awkward and really cringy to listen to. And I felt like the Lucha Bros don't know lick of English, and the only thing keeping them interesting is that the Luchadors, at least Rey Mysterio, can speak fluently in English. Fuck, this show had so many good positives, but I feel like it's missing a bit much. So I'm gonna give it a small little 5+1. So that's the review of AEW Dynamite. Hopefully I keep this as consistent, because this is supposed to be the alternative to WWE. In certain aspects, it's the second biggest wrestling promotion to watch currently, and it's in everybody's conversation whenever it's coming to pro wrestling right now. So if I were you, I would go back and watch Dynamite to see just how amazing the fans were, how good some of the wrestling was, and how to get ready for the future of pro wrestling. Because obviously, you have a lot of stuff coming. NWA is coming. Impact's coming back on TV, and sooner than later, it might be coming back on an actual popular TV program, a TV channel that people are actually gonna watch. Because I think they have the best roster currently, and I think they're working on it really well. Thanks for leaving Billy Corgan and Dixie Carter. NWA seems interesting. I feel like it's a really good change of pace. New Japan, I feel like they don't have it anymore, and I think they missed out on too many chances to be like a mainstream for the western part of the world. So that's my take on it. I didn't mind Dynamite. It was really delightful to watch, and plus I had to rewatch it because I had to watch NXT and AEW. You know how that much conjoints. Like I missed so many parts of the match that I had to watch it back. So that was kind of my experience watching Dynamite. I had to go back and forth because, of course, NXT's on USA now. So I wish I wouldn't waste my time just watching one show. Thanks. NXT used to be strictly network. So that's my take on it. Thank you for watching the review, and thanks for taking your delightful time seeing my ugly ass face on your computer, phone, or TV if you have a console. So thank you for watching.